Here I have a 2025 Mercedes CLA 250. This is the entry-level Benz if you're looking to get into one of the cars. The GLA SUV starts at a slightly lower price point, but I'm going to show you around this budget-friendly Benz today to see if it stacks up with the rest of the lineup. So first, let's talk about the exterior. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this generation of the CLA. Mercedes calls this a coupe, even though it has 4 doors. Never really understood that, and it doesn't really make much sense. The coupe part just means it has a more sloped roofline, as you can tell in the back. It kind of slopes down a little bit. The C-Series has better rear seat room and doesn't feel as claustrophobic in the back. Although the C-Series is in the compact segment, the CLA is in the subcompact. I think the front looks pretty good, but the rear is a little weird. I don't love these lights, not a fan of the fake exhaust cutouts, and what is going on here by the license plate? What are these little bumper pieces? Overall, I think the C-Class looks better, even though this is supposed to be the sportier looking small sedan. The AMG models add some nice aggressive touches to the exterior and make it look much better in my opinion. And then little Easter egg, the camera lives inside the Mercedes Benz logo. That's cool. Next, let's check the inside. Moving on to the interior, this may be the budget-friendly model, but they did not skimp out much here. This still feels very Mercedes. It's not as nice or upscale as some other models, but it's still impressive. It's a really nice place to be. Everything looks great, and I don't see any cheap materials. I have brushed aluminum here for the trim, but you can also get a carbon fiber look or wood grain. The steering wheel controls have a premium feel, and unlike what I've seen in some BMW models, no cheap plastic on the buttons in the middle. You got a nice panoramic sunroof that opens up. I love the round vents that Mercedes has been using. You get plenty of airflow and it's easy to close them. You just twist. These seats are very comfortable. I've done a few 2 and 3 hour long drives this week and had no issues. Both driver and passenger seats are electronic. The seat controls are on the door. It's a little weird at first, but intuitive. The lumbar support is 4-way adjustable, but it is located on the side of the seat. You can make micro adjustments with the seat controls so you can position it exactly where you'd like. You also have an adjustable cushion in the front for added comfort. You get some pretty great tech here, but oddly there are some features that I'd expect to be standard that you need to pay extra for. The center display is not as big or elegant as in other models, but it's still very nice, and the gauge cluster screen is very crisp. You get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. The screen is easy to use, and you can either use it as a touchscreen or you can use this touchpad on the side of the steering wheel. I'm not a huge fan of touchpads, but these work pretty well. You have multiple charging options, USB-C, cigarette style outlet, wireless charger right here, and then actually you just take this little lever out and that'll keep your phone in place when you're going hard on the throttle. And you have additional USB-C ports in here. You have rain sensing wipers that actually work pretty well. A crazy number of color options in your ambient light settings. So you have a bunch of different colors. You get basic safety features like automatic braking, blind spot monitors, a crisp backup camera, and then front and rear parking sensors. You even get this parking assist feature. So basically you drive around and the car will find parking spots, either a parallel parking spot or even perpendicular. You only get basic cruise control here, but for an extra $1,700, you can get the driver assistance package, which is really comprehensive. This comes with radar cruise control, lane centering, evasive steering assist, and a very capable self-driving system. This also comes with a feature called pre-safe, where the car can detect when a collision or rollover is about to happen, and it will make adjustments to the seat belts, seats, it will close all the windows and the sunroof to reduce the severity of the crash. There's other packages that add heated seats, a heads-up display, and even a feature where you can use gestures to control the screen. So for example, if you wanted to raise the volume, you would just do something like this in front of the screen and it would raise the volume, and a few other gestures. Regarding powertrain, you can only get a 4-cylinder turbo in the CLA, but there's 3 different flavors. The base CLA I have here is a mild hybrid with a 4-cylinder turbo, making 221 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Not much, but the car feels pretty quick when you floor it. This is going to the front wheels, get the 4MATIC version, and then you'll get all-wheel drive as well. Step up to the AMG 35 model, and that one has 302 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. And the top of the line AMG 45S will be the most impressive. That one makes 416 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque, and it does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds. That's wild. Both of the AMG trims also come with 8-speed dual-clutch transmissions, so you'll get crisp shifting. Get pretty decent fuel mileage in these cars. The base front-wheel drive version gets 26 city and 36 highway. The AMG 35 gets 22 city, 29 highway, and the AMG 45S gets 20 city and 28 highway. For all that extra power over the AMG 35, you don't lose much in fuel mileage, which is pretty nice. When it comes to driving the car, it feels like a Mercedes going down the street. Minimal wind noise, it's very compliant, handles very well, but doesn't punish you or feel stiff. Now if you want a stiff and aggressive ride, then you have the AMG models. This one is still fun to drive around in though. Put the car in sport mode and it tightens up the steering wheel for more engagement. So being a four-door sedan, you could definitely fit people in the back, but it is a little tight, and you do lose out on headroom because of the sloping coupe style. It's not too bad though. I mean, I still got some knee room here, and you do have these cutouts in the front passenger and driver seat, which helps make space for the knees. The C-Class will be a little bit more comfortable for rear seat passengers, especially tall ones. Like, I'm not hitting my head on the roof, but I have like about an inch, and I'm only 5'9". You got some climate vents here, which is nice. One USB-C port, interesting. Net for stuff. You got a rear armrest, and these over-engineered Mercedes Benz cup holders. Like, that was not necessary, all of that. No pass-through though. But I believe you can split these seats. Like, you can take them down. I think it's 40, 20, 40. So, not too bad. So moving on to the trunk. It's not massive, but it feels pretty big because it's like very long. Get a decent amount of space. I think you have 11.6 cubic feet of space. And then no spare tire or fix-a-flat, which is unfortunate, but you have a little extra storage underneath for some stuff. And then these seats are 40, 20, 40. So if you want just the middle part down, you can do that. If you want one side or the other or the whole thing, whatever you may need for additional cargo. When it comes to pricing, here is where the CLA shines. You can get into this model for $44,400. This is the lowest price for a Mercedes sedan in the US. The GLA SUV is the actual cheapest Benz at $43,000 though. The 4MATIC trim starts at $2,000 more. The CLA 35 starts at $56,100, and the CLA 45S starts at $67,050. The average new car in the US is around the mid to high $40,000 range, so the CLA starts at the same price point of an average car. Not too bad for all the luxury you get. And then some notable features. When it comes to the ambient lighting, you have 64 different color shades. That's a lot. And then if you go to multicolor, then you can actually mix and match. So for example, you can have some like pink and blue, red, yellow, so you can start mixing and matching different colors. And the ambient lighting looks really good in this car. I'm a huge fan of it. You also have this interesting feature called Seat Kinetics. So if I could find it, let me see. So basically what this does, it'll readjust the seating position as you're driving. So this helps with people who have back issues or get fatigued a lot when they go on long drives. It might sound kind of gimmicky, but I don't know. I tried it. It seems like it works. It moves the seat around, not like excessively. So if you're somebody who has a lot of fatigue or gets tired or back pain when you go on long drives, it might be worth a shot for you. Give it a go. Another Easter egg I noticed on the car. Here I'm on the grill. Do you see what these are? These are all little Mercedes Benz stars. That's actually pretty cool. And then just to point out some cons that I've noticed with the car since I've had it. For one, the rear bumper and these weird pieces that just jut out. I honestly hate these. It makes the rear end look weird, and they just look out of place and kind of tacky. Next is the fact that the lane centering and adaptive cruise control have to be added on. These are standard features in lower priced cars like Toyota, Honda, Hyundai. I also noticed that the car seems to hesitate or feel sluggish when you're idling for too long and then you start driving. There's no warning lights, nothing comes up on the dash, but the car just feels off. And then this went away after driving for like 5 or so minutes, so I don't know if it has something to do with the transmission. It starts to heat up or something when it sits idling for too long. Not sure. Couldn't really get a video of this, but it did happen to me a few times. The auto start stop feature is kind of annoying when you're parking or slowly creeping in parking lots. The engine will shut off before you come to a full stop, and then if you want to inch forward a little bit, the engine kicks back on, and then the car kind of like lurches a little bit. So that's annoying. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but I noticed that these rearview mirrors are kind of small and not really the best to look at. Like, here's my hand for reference. It's the size of my hand. Not that great. But you have the blind spot monitors, so that's good. And then lastly, this is a Mercedes Benz. Once it's out of the warranty, parts and labor will be expensive. These cars are not made for people who like to tinker around or work on them. You'll have a lot of headaches, and it's honestly just easier to go to the dealer or a reputable mechanic to work on it. But it's gonna cost you. So if you're just leasing it, no worries. If you're gonna keep it long term, well, after that warranty period, it's gonna be a little questionable. So there you have it. That's the Mercedes CLA 250. Overall, this car definitely checks off the boxes of a Mercedes Benz. You get the luxury premium feel, plenty of cool features, and nice variety of engine options. You can get a relatively affordable, efficient daily cruiser, or go wild with the AMG models and smoke most things on the road. It's not my favorite of the Mercedes sedans. I refuse to call it a coupe, but it's a great entry point. Personally, I think the C-Class is more practical and better overall, but if you're into the sloped roof style, don't need a lot of rear passenger room, and want to save a few thousand, then this is definitely the one to get. If you'd enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. Also, consider checking out my other review videos on screen right now. Yeah, like, look at these cup holders. I'm like, how do these work? But look, this thing folds out, and that's how it holds the drink. And then this opens up. This is so unnecessarily complex. There was no need for any of this. That's funny. Leave it to the Germans.